I'm Kevin Raybold of Buffalo Hunter Game Calls. My online name is Buffalo Gobbler. I make turkey calls, and I'm a turkey hunter. What got me interested in turkey hunting? Oh, I, I remember hearing turkeys gobble in Allegheny State Park way back in the 70s when I was a kid and thought it was really cool. And after I became a deer hunter, soon after I became a deer hunter, I started hunting turkeys. Didn't know what I was doing, but I started hunting them. How did I get started? Um, well, I don't know. I guess I just started. I bought a Paul Butsky's box call and a Quaker Boy double diaphragm call. And again, there's a quite a bit of a learning curve with the diaphragm, but I just went at it and started turkey hunting. Uh, Back when I started, my gear was really simple, just some old military camo, my Butsky's box call, my Quaker Boy mouth call, and my shotgun with some turkey loads. That was pretty much it. It was a lot simpler back then. Oh, it was probably 3 or 4 years before I harvested my first turkey. Um, it was on a property that I know well. I've got many deer. Actually, I was sitting against a tree where I'd shot several deer in the past, and there was a gobbler out there gobbling, and I could hear hens with them. And well, of course, I really didn't know what I was doing, but eventually, I wound up dragging the hen, calling the hen in, dragging the huge boss gobbler with him. He went behind a tree. Told myself I'm going to shoot him when he popped. Well, he walked out. I didn't shoot him. He went behind another tree. I never saw him again. They walked off, gobbling and yelping and gobbling and yelping. And I heard a gobbler behind me, and he come. He walked up right past my right arm, walked out in front of the gun, and I shot my first turkey ever. It was a consolation Jake. I shouldn't call him a consolation. I was very proud of him. He was a really nice Jake, and his tail and is mounted on my wall to this day. Well, I was a lot younger when I first started hunting turkeys. I did a lot of running and gunning and calling and covered a lot of woods, and I shot some gobblers that way. But um, now that I'm older, my newest tactic is when they're not gobbling, I sit against a tree and take a nap. If they gobble, I'll hear them. They'll wake me up. How has turkey hunting changed in the last 30 years? Well, this season's a prime example. Um, Seems years ago when I was younger, there were goblin turkeys everywhere, every part of the woods. It didn't take much to track them down. Nowadays, like right now, this is a strange season. We're into the third weekend of the season here in 2020, and only one day I've heard goblin and couldn't get to them. There's been no goblin at all this season. Just sitting and calling and taking a few naps and calling and walking to a new place, and that's all I'm doing. They're really not gobbling much, and that's kind of been my experience the last few years. Not a whole lot of gobbling. Oh well, they're still out there. Just got to find them. Yes, I kind of do miss the good old days. Um, it seemed like there was a lot more action back then, and um, you could find turkeys, and you couldn't always call them in, but they were easy to find. And you did call a few in and shoot a few in the end. Yeah, I do miss the good old days. Well, unfortunately, in my opinion, turkey hunting isn't better now. Um, we went through about a decade or so here in Western New York where Turkey populations kind of plummeted due to different factors. In the last 2 years, they seem to have picked up a bit. I've seen a lot of turkeys through the winter and that. So there's hope on the horizon that things will get better. But back in the 90s, there was a lot more gobblers here in Western New York, and they were a lot easier to find. My most memorable hunt. Um, uh, there was a turkey that I discovered one year packing gravel in the road, and I started hunting him. I hunted him for 3 years. This was a problem turkey, an old turkey. Um, I won't go into the story about this turkey. I hunted him for 3 years. He gobbled a lot, but one time when he wasn't gobbling, I decided to try something different. So I went down to a spot, just a little bit that way, and there were some dust bowls there that I knew about. Turkeys would come to dust and when it got hot. So I set up. I put out a whole flock of decoys, and I just sit there and call softly, sitting there and not paying attention, starting to nod off. Every now and then I'd call softly and kind of nod off in the warm sunlight, and then all of a sudden I'm sitting there with my eyes closed, and they're and I open my eyes. There's a big old longbeard strutting in my decoys right in front of me, just back and forth. I reached down, gave him a cluck on my box call. He put his head up, boom, and he was mine. That was a good turkey. Yeah, that was a good turkey. Last thoughts about turkey hunting. Um, I don't know. I've been blessed to hunt them for 30 plus years. I'm by no way any kind of. I'm still a novice even after 30 years. Still learning. Still struggling to kill them every chance I can get, and hopefully I'll have, good Lord willing, several more years.